Hi Gemini, welcome to Carol's Universe Tarot Readings from the Heart. Really good to see you guys again. Hope you're really well. Today is your January 2016 yearly reading. Just to let you know what's coming up for you guys, as I'm telling all of the signs, Scorpio has already been done and dusted and dealt with, so all their videos are up. Every one of the signs gets 3 readings from Carol's Universe. It's really just to say thank you for all your support all year round. So today you've got your monthly reading. I've been doing the monthly readings for each of the signs, each of the 11 signs that were left over, because it's easiest just for me to record all these videos in batches. The next videos that I do in batches will be the yearly 2016 for all of the 11 signs that are remaining, and then you'll have your life spread reading for the rest of the 11 signs, okay, coming up. The life spread is focusing on 4 or 5 areas of your life in 2016. It's a very good reading. It's a lot of fun for me to do. So, also if you'd like a private reading with me, please go to the link below, www.carolsuniverse.co.uk. Okay, so let's shuffle the cards and let's concentrate. Universe Spirit, you know that you can speak through me. I need your help, please. I need you to show me what's potentially coming up for the zodiac sign of Gemini. I need sun, moon and rising signs. Gemini, sun, moon and rising signs. What's coming up for the zodiac sign of Gemini in January 2016? Show me the general energies, the overall theme stroke advice, and I need you to show me the situations and events happening for those born under the zodiac sign of Gemini, sun, moon and rising signs. Show me Gemini, sun, moon and rising signs. Gemini, sun, moon and rising signs. January 2016. Show me Gemini, sun, moon and rising signs. Gemini, sun, moon and rising signs. Gemini, sun, moon and rising signs. Show me. Show me Gemini, sun, moon and rising signs. Gemini, sun, moon and rising signs. Gemini, sun, moon and rising signs. January 2016. Show me the energies. Show me the general energies. Show me the overall theme stroke advice card. Show me the situation stroke events in 8 cards in the middle. Show me Gemini, Gemini. Sun, moon and rising signs for January 2016. Show me. Okay guys, I have meditated on the cards, and what I'm going to do now is I'm going to split the deck into 3, and I'm going to collect that back up, and we're going to put down from the bottom card the overall theme stroke advice card, 2 cards from the top to represent the general energy, and also 8 cards in the middle, potentially situations, events coming up for you guys in January 2016. Okay. Okay, Gemini, you know, with all of the readings that I do on the channel, what I always hope for is a really positive reading. It's not to say that it's not a positive reading, Gemini, but I do see some worry. I've got to be honest, I can't lie. Your general advice for the month is the 7 of Wands. 7 of Wands can be fighting off competition. It's a card of having to stand your ground about something. It's a card about courage. It's a card about self-belief. It's a card about self-confidence. It's a card about sticking to your guns, knowing that you're in the right, okay? I do feel that the universe is saying that you're going to need to be courageous in January 2016. For some reason, and your general energy is showing us the 9 of Swords and also the 2 of Pentacles. I do feel you're going to need to be strong over something, okay? And when you see the 9 of Swords, there's a on that box, I don't know whether you can see that, but there's a guy who is fighting off an opponent, which to me represents this too shall pass. You will fight the demons off. And I feel that it's in connection potentially with a job or with money, because as your next general energy, we do have the Two of Pentacles. And it's usually somebody who's juggling money. Okay, so it's somebody who's having to kind of make concessions. It's someone who's having to make compromises. It's someone who's having to balance the books or balance money or balance two jobs. But it is a card of trying to kind of balance stuff out to make things work for ourselves. So I do feel that there will potentially be some money worries in January for you. And I feel that it could be around maybe a job that you lose or a job that comes to an end in January. I'm sorry to be the bearer of bad tidings, but it's not a bad reading. It isn't. It's just how you want to play it. You know, is the cup half full or is it half empty? Okay. For some of you guys, it could have been a good job that you actually had, that you were earning quite a substantial amount of money in, and suddenly now you're going to have to kind of tighten your belt. I'm seeing that within the general energy of the Nine of Swords and the Two of Pentacles. You know, there's a lot of kind of head trauma with that Nine of Swords, because it is all about the way that we think. Remember, the swords are their communication. So it could be some communication that you get coming in within January that isn't particularly good. I'm feeling it's around a job, potentially. It could be around a relationship, potentially. Could be. As I always say with the readings, you've got to apply them to what's going on in your life, okay? It's not set in stone that it has to be a career. But it's just the couple of the other cards that I'm seeing that are making me think, is this, you know, is this about a career? So I do feel, yeah, there's probably going to be some stress over money. You're probably going to have to balance stuff out, balance the books, balance yourself. There is I mean, if you look at the Two of Pentacles, there's a stormy sea between this guy, but he's hopping on from one foot to the other. You know, he's trying to make things work. So there could be kind of some worry over trying to make something work. Yeah, the first two cards showing up for you, Gemini, are the Tower and the Hierophant. Now, what I'm noticing with these, you know, and a lot of these tarot cards, they always show three figures. And you've got a lot of threes in this reading. You've got Three of Wands, you've got Three of Cups, you've got Three of Pentacles. Usually the number three would represent groups as well, okay? But I do see some of you guys leaving something behind. There is rebirth. There is a new change coming in. And we do see that because we've got the Tower as a major arcana card. And whenever I see that Tower card, I don't mess with the Tower card. Because I know that when I see the Tower card in a reading, it signifies some massive change that might have come in as a surprise. I've seen the Tower card come into people's readings where they've kind of just had this massive turnaround in how they felt about something. They've suddenly just discovered something within themselves and had a breakdown and cried and said, now I get it, now I realise what you want me to do, universe. So I do feel that there is either going to be a massive epiphany moment for you guys in January, or there could literally be something that comes in as a surprise. So maybe something you didn't know. Because we've got the Hierophant here. The Hierophant card is very much a restrictive card because it's based in tradition, values, conventionality, very much stuffy shirt type business going on there. This can be representative of maybe a corporate environment as well, along with something like the Emperor card. But it's kind of adhering to certain rules and certain kind of ideologies. Now, I could look at this two ways. And I could say that for some of you guys, you might just have a sudden flash of inspiration with that Tower card. And you may realise that you're not, it's almost like you're taking the crown off something. Because if you look at this Hierophant here, he looks like he's wearing a crown. And he's got two people sitting in front of him and they're listening to every word he says. It's almost like he holds the keys to the kingdom, Gemini. It's almost like, yes, this is the person that we have to adhere to. This is the person that, you know, can speak no wrong. This is the person that we bow and kowtow to. But with the Tower card, the Hierophant's crown comes off as somebody's cast out of something. So for some of you guys, it could literally, I feel, be that something has probably kept you restricted, or something that has kept you back maybe from stepping into your own power. Suddenly it dissolves, suddenly it goes. Maybe it's going to be a surprise ending to a job. Maybe within that Hierophant it could be an establishment some of you guys work in, and suddenly with that Tower card, all of a sudden something that you thought was sacred, something that you might have thought was untouchable, suddenly isn't so sacred and suddenly isn't so untouchable. Because it might be, I mean, remember with the Hierophant, he's a very dependable card. He's someone that everybody would depend on. He's the wise guy, you know. And I don't mean Goodfellas wise guy, okay? What I mean is that he's the wise one. He's the person that people would go to for advice, for some kind of guidance. So he's like a teacher mentor. So he's pretty untouchable as a person in a way. And he makes himself out to be untouchable because look at what his get-up, look at what he's wearing. He's all covered up. He's all trussed up in some long gown. Nothing shows. He's pointing two fingers up to the sky as if to say, I am God's representative on earth. You can't touch this. You can't touch me. But he is touchable because his crown's come off. This could be a discovery about something that you guys make in January as well, because I see that the Hierophant, along with, I often see a lot of people say the Magician is the counterpart to the High Priestess, but I often see the Hierophant as being the counterpart, because the Hierophant is the Pope, the High Priestess is often known as the Papus. I think that's how you pronounce it, the Papus or the Papus. So I often see her as being kind of the spiritual counterpart to the Hierophant. Both of them are holders of secrets. But the Hierophant invites you in to kind of discover stuff for yourself. So he gives you the guidance, but then you have to go on that journey and discover what this guidance means for yourself. And maybe there is a sense of discovery within January with that Tower card. But I do feel that this is more career, only because we have the Nine of Swords and that Two of Pentacles in your general energy, and the Seven of Wands, which could literally be fighting for something. Usually you'll find this in a career reading if you're going to have to fight for a position or jostle for first position, or you're fighting other people who are sending their resumes out and that type of thing. But I feel that whatever it is that collapses in January in terms of whether this is career, maybe this is something that you discover about something that was unavailable to you or wasn't apparent to you, it is going to give you some freedom, because we do see the Judgment card next. And as far as I'm concerned, the Judgment card is freedom, it's rebirth, it's liberation from a time where you were probably kind of asleep. I often look at corporate people as being asleep. I've worked amongst corporate people and they've got no juice to them, they've got no colour, no flavour, no anything. If you look at this card here, the Tower, this has got flavour. It's got Maverick written all over it. It's got Boom written all over it. It's got kind of like, you know, let's take the roof off this fucker type of thing all over it. Whereas the Hierophant is kind of like, yes, we worship you, Hierophant. Do you know what I mean? He's kind of like, yes, we are kind of very conventional and we're stuffy and we're very set in our ways. But this isn't the card of being set in your ways, the Tower. Because the Tower will take the roof off that fucker there. He'll just take it off. And he'll dispel any myth or any bullshit that was based on something that wasn't so good. You know, this Hierophant sometimes can be, if it was with something like, for example, the Devil card, it could be, for example, a corrupt organisation. And I find that, I don't want to get political or religious here, but sometimes where people are preaching to us, sometimes the biggest preachers or the people who really want to preach, they're the most corrupt people of all. Because they want to tell us what their view of what is right and wrong is, and we don't really have a say. So this could be dispelling something that, or taking the roof of something that was seen to be untouchable, seemed to be absolutely rock solid, but it's not rock solid because this came off. As I've said, it could be that some of you guys suddenly realise that what you thought was stable with that Hierophant card is now not so stable with the Tower. So the conventionality, the tradition, the values are no longer there with that Tower card. So the faithfulness, the strictness, the confinement, I see corporate environments as really confining environments as well. Sorry to anyone who's watching this and you're from a corporate environment, but that's how I see it. There are certain rules and there are regulations, and maybe for some of you guys it's the epiphany that I don't really want to be involved in that anymore. You know, maybe you want to walk away from something that you see as being too restrictive, and maybe you suddenly realise this isn't all that at all. With the Judgment card, we do see a rebirth happening for you guys. It's almost like you've been released from something here. And I see release in the Tower card, and I also see release in that Judgment card there. You've actually got 3 major Arcana cards all in a row. Tower, Hierophant, Judgment. In a way, I wish it was Hierophant, Tower, and then Judgment, because that would say to me, restriction, release, freedom. But it doesn't matter because it still says the same thing. It just means that you have suddenly unearthed something, released yourself from something that was restricted with that Hierophant that now gives you liberation and freedom. You are no longer asleep. If I were to look at it as a progression, the Hierophant would be kind of like your Stepford Wives moment. And then the Judgment card would be released from being the Stepford wife. Obviously, a Stepford wife didn't really, you know, she wasn't really awake, was she? She was being controlled by pills or whatever it is they were giving to her. And suddenly this awakening, this rude awakening with the Judgment card. So it's almost like there's a rude awakening with the Tower card and also the Judgment card. But the Judgment card is softer because the Judgment card is now kind of flows in when you're in the flow of something and you feel that release. The Tower happens quickly, suddenly. It's a jolt to the system. So something jolts you in January. But it's for your highest good because it does give you release with the Judgment card. And we see this as well with the 3 of Wands. It allows you to seek out other opportunities. It allows you to expand. It allows you to go on a journey. Okay, now this can be the card of frustration and waiting for something to happen. So maybe with those 3 ships there, they look like they're harboured. It could be that you'll be waiting for a little bit of time before something else comes in. The right opportunity for you comes in. Okay? And while you're waiting, there is frustration. And that 7 of Wands, as your advice card, is telling you to stand your ground. Keep on fighting. Keep on going. Okay? It could be as an advice card that within the Hierophant, you're the maverick. You're the maverick that's fighting the powers that be. And now you've got release with that Judgment card and 3 of Wands. It could also be that you have a sudden explosion of anger maybe within the workplace. I don't want to make this a negative reading, guys. I'm trying my best not to. But I'm wondering why you're worrying with this 9 of Swords. If it's something that you kind of planned or decided to do, then why are you worrying about it with the 9 of Swords and 2 of Pentacles? You know, if you were going to do something and plan it out, surely you'd plan out, how am I going to do this, how am I going to do that? But then that's by the by, because you can still worry when you've made plans. But the Tower, to me, whenever I've seen that card in a reading, it has been a sudden outburst. I've seen it happen with my own 2 eyes. If I've done a reading for someone and then that's come, you know, people have written back to me where I've predicted the Tower card in their reading and they've said, yes, I had a sudden epiphany moment. Something happened to me. Even within my own reading and that Tower came about, I had a sudden jolt of something. Could be a sudden realisation that you're not as confined as you think you are with that Hierophant card. Or that somebody isn't as untouchable or as good as they make themselves out to be. But there is the standing your ground, and there is potentially a lot of competition in terms of the job market for you guys, if that's the case with this advice card of the 7 of Wands. The next cards we see are the 3 of Pentacles and the 4 of Cups. I feel after this jolt and the release and looking for other opportunities to come in, I feel that the waiting game is all of your own doing, because you are offered something, and I feel it's within another workplace, because the 3 of Pentacles can sometimes mean, a lot of the time actually means within a working environment, within a team. And we do have the 4 of Cups, but there is disinterest in this. There's a lot of disinterest, Gemini, within this reading of something potentially that is offered to you. Maybe you feel that it doesn't provide enough money to you, or it doesn't give you enough money. This 3 of Pentacles could be you guys going for an interview, for example, showing your resume. And maybe you're offered something. You're offered a lifeline. to negate the effects of the Nine of Swords and the Two of Pentacles in terms of the general energy for the month. But you don't seem very interested in it. It seems that you're still focused on maybe what you had with that Three of Cups. So that Three of Cups usually is a joyous number. It's in terms of the Three of Cups as the card on its own. It's usually celebrations, reunions, that type of thing. So maybe for some of you guys, you were cast out of somewhere, or you're going to be cast out of somewhere, or you know, you're going to be you've got your job, but without notice they tell you that they're letting you go in January or something like that, and you miss all of your friends, and you're not happy with the new offer that comes in. You're too focused on what you had potentially within this Hierophant. Okay. But we do also have next door to this Four of Cups, funnily enough, the Three of Cups, the celebration card. There's a lot of celebration here, but for some reason the Hermit is not looking at that, because he's the final card. He's kind of blocking this Three of Cups out. He won't look at it. He's not joining in the fun. So maybe you've been cast out of a group here, because I am seeing this Three of Cups, people joining in together, everybody's happy. But even though this isn't your zodiac, this is representative potentially of a Virgo individual, it doesn't matter, because it could still be you guys, still searching around. And I feel that the Hermit is a card of solitude, whereas the Three of Cups is a card of groups. Okay. So there is the chance to kind of be involved in something potentially after this Tower event happens for you guys in January. But I feel that you are not interested. The Three of Cups could either represent that you have reason to celebrate, but I feel with the Four of Cups before that, this is saying to me that you don't feel that there's any reason to celebrate. And also, if I were to look at these cards together, it could be that you're being offered something new within a group, but you're so focused on your friends with that Three of Cups, people that you left behind. And that would show in a way, because you have the Three of Cups here and the Hermit. So you've got a group of people here celebrating, but potentially you're on your own. So it's almost like you've been locked out of a group. So there could be something like that going on. I do see in January, I've got to be honest with you, Gemini, that, yeah, potentially there could be something that happens that's a surprise. Okay, so this will either be you guys deciding, you know what, I don't need to kind of be a part of this shit. I want my own life, I want to go on my own journey. There is still worry over cash. When you make that decision, maybe we're in something that was quite secure with that Hierophant. Maybe it's off your own doing with that Tower card. If it's not of your own doing, then this is something that surprises you. But it's good because it gives you a new lease of life. It gives you a chance to kind of explore other things. Maybe within the Hierophant, you just did the job for the cash, but it didn't fulfill you on a joyous level. The Hierophant to me can represent spiritual enlightenment, but also it can represent not feeling so spiritually enlightened at your core. Okay? So something that you were secure in but didn't really give you any fulfillment. Hence we see the Judgment card. The sleep that you went through in a job within that Hierophant has now been unlocked. The Hierophant asks you as well to seek out higher wisdom for yourself. So maybe your higher wisdom is sought out, and that's where we have the Tower card, the sudden realisation, breaking free. And we see that in the Judgment card, breaking free, which allows you to go on an expansive journey, seek out your own opportunities, but they may not be coming so quickly. However, there is something that happens here that gives you an offer. I see here potentially some of you guys going for interviews. You're potentially offered something, but maybe you missed something from where you were before. Or you're focused on friends or more joyous times that you had. Which lets me think that maybe there is a surprise coming in terms of a job, being let go from a job, or something that you might have thought was secure. With the Hermit and the Three of Cups, I noticed that the Hermit is out of the circle with the Three of Cups, so you might be feeling a little bit excluded maybe from a group. And maybe that's why we've got the Four of Cups here, the exclusion from the group. Even though somebody's trying to offer you something new, you still want what you had. And if that's the case, it could be that something of a surprise happens in terms of a secure job or a secure situation in your life that wasn't so secure, because the Tower card always really says that why the Tower happens is because we need to break stuff down that would have fallen down anyway. You do have freedom within that Judgment card and also the Three of Wands. There is some worry here, I feel, over cash or over trying to juggle something financial or material, and you will have to stand in your truth. You're going to have to stand firm, and you're going to have to make sure that you don't give up. This is a card of not giving up as well, the Seven of Wands. It's not a bad reading, Gemini, for January. It's not, but it's just that I feel that, you know, forewarned is forearmed if any of this kind of comes around, or if you're going through it, or if you've been through it. Okay, but remember, if anything should happen that's of a surprise to you, remember it's happened because it wants to liberate you from the past. It wants to liberate you from something that wasn't serving your highest purpose in the first place. Okay, it's also telling you not to focus on the past, but to look to the future. Okay, and that if the universe is trying to offer you solutions, look at those solutions, okay? You're never too high or never too big to do something that might not be on the same scale or level of what you've known before. Okay, that's your reading, Gemini, for the month of January 2016. I'd like to say thank you very, very, very much for using Carol's Universe for your reading today on my channel, and I will speak to you guys really soon. Take care.